Welcome to Radical Self-Respect with Jared Mello, everyone. Thank you very much to everyone's been liking, commenting, and subscribing. Thank you very much for your support. And today we're going to have another supporter request video. And it's going to go as follows. They wanted to know, how do you deal with gaslighting? And it is a really good question because in this day and age, we experience gaslighting everywhere. Whether it's online and when we disagree with someone, or God forbid if it's with some sort of narcissistic individual, it seems to be a lot of people's default mode. There's a lot of cluster B traits out there these days, and gaslighting is everywhere. So, how do you deal with it? Admittedly, there's a lot of internal work that needs to be done here first. I made a video previously about how to be gaslighting proof. I'll include that in the description. I may pin it in the comments. But that's a lot of this here too, because when we allow ourselves to be gaslit, it usually means we do not have a strong enough grasp and hold of our own realities, and we care a little bit about what someone else thinks. We give them a little bit of power over us, and we can get that terrible, gaslighting feeling, where you start to feel like you're going crazy. They're making you crazy because they're spinning it all around, twisting your words, flipping things back on you in order to make you feel crazy. And again, this is very, very, very common. And that's why it's important to do the internal work first, to have a belief in ourselves so strong that we're able to just casually observe, oh, okay, that person's gaslighting me. They're trying to twist what I'm saying. I see that's not what I'm trying to say. They're trying to twist it into that, but I'm not going to allow myself to have an emotional reaction to it. And usually, once someone starts gaslighting, the best thing to do is to not really even have that conversation, because any rational discourse you would try to have after that, the same thing's just going to happen. They're going to try to twist it more and more and more, flip it back on you, try to make you feel crazy, win the argument, and it's just not worth it. Now, in the perfect world, we would be able just to leave in any situation where there's going to be gaslighting. But unfortunately, sometimes with family or at the workplace, it's not always possible to just leave, and we have to kind of deal with it. And I think one of the best methods is a gray rock method or a yellow rock method. Yellow rock is a little more, it's like a gray rock with a little bit more emotion, because too little emotion does make narcissists annoyed sometimes. So it's supposed to just disarm. And the point is, what you don't do with gaslighting is you don't try to convince them of your own reality. You don't try to talk them out of it, because that's like giving more energy to it than we really need to. It's not necessary, and it doesn't help us in any way. And again, right along the lines of having a strong reality, we got to have a lot of emotional self-control. If we do not have emotional self-control, we'll find ourselves getting sucked into these things. And if someone is narcissistic, they thrive off of that. They love sucking us in and seeing us give them some sort of emotional reaction, getting mad about how they're twisting our words. And it's just not worth it for us to do that. So there isn't really any rocket science here. There's no magic bullet. There's a lot of internal work that needs to be done. Emotional self-control. Don't engage with the gaslighting unless we absolutely have to for work or for in a family scenario. And even then, in those scenarios, least amount of contact necessary. Because there is no healthy discourse with someone that their default mode of disagreement or conflict is gaslighting. And I see it everywhere. So few people out there these days can really disagree without gaslighting. They can't hear a boundary. They can't hear the word no. And it's pretty common. It's pretty common. And the most common thing I see online, for example, is so you'll make a statement and then someone will try to pull it to the extreme and say, oh, you think this, so you really hate this, and you really hate all of those people, or you're degrading these people. And it's like, Not quite. But that's how it goes down, though. They'll do it, and it'll be like an exaggeration. It's like, say you have a sternness in your voice because you're trying to make a boundary, and they'll be like, "Why are you freaking out, bro? Why are you freaking out?" And that's what they'll do, though. You're not freaking out, but they're trying to suck you in, and they're trying to amplify whatever you're feeling and blow it up out of proportion to make you look silly, to make you feel dumb and emotional. And again, this is the reason why we can't get sucked into this stuff. And apparently the powers that be want this video to be interrupted by honking, but we're not going to let that stop us here, are we? But that's how we do it. So to recap, emotional self-control, a very strong frame and belief in ourselves, knowing when to engage and when not to engage, know the situation. If it's just a friend or a romantic thing, there really shouldn't be. It shouldn't be a romantic thing if that's someone's mode. Like if that's their go-to in a disagreement or conflict, run. Same with friends. We don't need friends that way either. But unfortunately, we can't always choose our families, and we can't always choose all of our coworkers. So we're going to have some of these skills. Gray rock, yellow rock are very important. Don't try to convince them they're wrong. Don't try to convince them we're right. That doesn't help at all. Giving the least amount of energy to it. That is what is important. Because ultimately, if the gaslighting doesn't have any effect on us emotionally, we win. They win when they suck us in, and then we get an emotional reaction, and then we lose it, and we start fighting them and engaging them. That does not help us at all. And again, I always like little stupid sayings, and one of my favorite stupid sayings is, when you argue with a fool, then there are two. It kind of helps me to take a step back sometimes, and I realize, oh, okay, I should not be engaging with this. Gaslighting is never a healthy discourse. Gaslighting is not a way to disagree in an emotionally healthy way. So the less we have to do that, the better. So that's my advice and suggestions on how to handle gaslighting. Please share this video if you know someone that you think might benefit from it. Like the video, because that always helps too. Maybe comment some of your experiences or other ways you've handled gaslighting in the past. I'm sure we would all love to hear it. And again, thank you very much for watching.